You know what I need to talk about is I did watch Home Sweet Home Alone.
Oh my God.
That looks like it's going to be British
which is on
trash.
Disney Plus.
You believe that kid's British?
British trash.
Hold on. Well, let me
Throw him in a
actually.
lava river.
I'm with you on that.
A magma hole.
Let me.
Magma.
I'm just gonna say, warning: if you give a fuck about Home Sweet Home Alone, spoilers, you should not
kill yourself. What do you mean? That's warning. You should
the
kill
British
yourself.
kid is not the main character of that movie.
It's
Wait,
the
what? Really?
criminals?
The
Who's the
main
British
character,
kid?
yes, the main characters of that movie are the dumb bitch from The Office,
Try blowjob.
Ellie
what's her
Kemper.
name? Ellie Kemper, and
Who is
the Twitter
apparently
guy.
connected to some sort of white supremacist
Yeah,
family.
she has a super rich Southern family,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But she's just in like a midsummer Ku Klux Klan sort of dance.
But who's the other guy, the Twitter guy? That's in the
Rob
movie?
Delaney.
Yes, and Rob Delaney. Because this movie goes out of its way because yes, Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney are the burglars in this movie. But the movie goes out of its way to explain that they're not burglars, they're loving parents that care about their children, and they care about their
trying
house.
to humanize the villain, but I don't think you need to do that in Home
Yeah,
Sweet Home Alone.
Yes,
Feed me my dick.
They're worried about losing their house that they can't keep up with their mortgage on.
Oh my
Because there's
God.
this whole thing. Like, the movie is so complicated from the first 20 minutes because there's this thing going on where Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney are having open house to potentially sell their home because they can't keep up with the mortgage. Rob Delaney's job was a data migration guy.
Said it yourself, the data migration boom is over.
And now everything's in the cloud.
The cloud.
The cloud.
Why did everything go in the cloud? It eliminated my job.
Wait, what? They're just making up a reality?
There's running jokes about the cloud.
To download that special memory right from the cloud.
Well, so you're not even using solid state storage on site?
And everyone's like, they always go, the cloud. Like they make a fist and like, the cloud.
And the stupid cloud.
I hate you, cloud.
Enough is enough.
And then the thing is, the British kid and his mom are driving home from who the fuck knows where. And the British kid is like, I gotta take a piss. I mean, he doesn't say it like that, but he has to go to the bathroom.
He's got to use the loo.
Oi, bro.
Oi, mum.
Oi, bro, I need to take a piss.
And he's like arguing
Mom.
with his mom about something else.
Could feel a shepherd's
And
pie
she's
up
like-
with piss.
She's like, you can't hold it till you get home? And he's like, no, Mom, I need to go to the loo.
Mumsy, please, Mumsy. I need to detach
And
my
so
sidecar.
She sees that there's an open house going on, so she's like, all right, follow my lead.
You're gonna have to pretend with Mummy for a little bit. You're gonna have to pretend we're going to buy a house.
And they pull up to this open house, which is Rob Delaney and Ellie Kemper's open house.
Yes.
And at the meantime,
Holy shit. I'm sorry. I just realized this is the most complicated
Exactly.
fucking thing.
Think
I'm already
about-
into it, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you talking
Because,
about?
dude,
Okay.
think about Home Alone and how simple it is. Like,
Yeah.
you have these villainous, like, you see Joe Pesci at the beginning posing as a cop, and later you find out he's a burglar, and it's all about Kevin, like, being at odds with his family and
Yeah.
wishing to be alone.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
And it's the whole be careful what you wish for. But no, this movie is, yes, they have this open house, and then the family's driving home. He has to go to the bathroom, and they decide to be like, hey, follow my lead. We'll go to this open house so you could use the bathroom. And as he's using the bathroom, he comes out, and Rob Delaney takes this box of dolls out of a closet. And they start making these jokes where the kid sees them, and he's like, oh, you're an adult that plays with dolls. And he's like, these are my mother's dolls. And
Your
like-
little notes.
and he's like, haha, yeah, right, it's your dolls. And like they're having this back and forth about the dolls.
This is in the movie?
Then
This
an
is in the movie.
Then an HVAC falls on the kid and kills him. He's like, oh.
And they're also having a back and forth. Like he pulls out these energy drinks that he's gonna put out for the open house. And the kid's like, "Can I have an energy drink?" And he's like, "Oh, that's up to your mom's, kid." And then the mom comes out, and they have this back and forth where she's saying his full name, and he's saying her full name.
The name of the child?
No, she's like, Max Theodore, whatever. you listen to me. And he's like, Sheila, whatever, something.
Maxwell Johann Mercer. What is with you today?
Carol Ellen Mercer. Take a guess.
You know what? How's about we just spend Christmas in Tokyo without you?
This is important later. That's why they're doing it.
Oh, okay. I just thought it sucked a dick.
And then she looks at the dolls and she looks at the dolls and is like, I've seen these dolls on Antique Roadshow. Some of them could go for like $10K. And he's like, haha, they're my mom's dolls. They're not my dolls. I don't have dolls. Like, that's the running gag.
Good Lord.
And then he like insults the kid in a way where they have this scene where the kid's looking at the dolls and he's like, is he gonna get revenge on the guy?
Why is this in this
This
movie?
is so long. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Dude,
so mad at you.
You're describing my feelings
doing
on
this.
Thanksgiving. I said to Stella, I go, this movie is way too fucking complicated for being 15 minutes into it. So they set up this scene where it looks like, okay, maybe the kid's gonna steal a doll.
Right.
And then it cuts away.
Oh no.
And then they have this conversation where Keenan from Keenan and Kel and SNL, Keenan Thompson, is their realtor. But he has to pretend he's their physical trainer because they haven't told their children that they're selling their home. Because they can't afford it.
Why are there so many layers?
Wow, man.
Subterfuge, just like Black Widow.
Is this Shakespeare?
So the kids come in and he's like, haha, we're working out. And he's pretending to be the personal trainer because they can't tell the children this.
Personal trainer. Yes, I'm going to be training your flabby dad.
Jeez, a lot of lies.
And then it comes up that the guy, Rob Delaney, his brother shows up.
Nice.
Oh
And
no,
he's
another character.
Exactly. He's the classic rich brother, and him and his Asian wife are doing well, and they brought all these presents, and it's like rubbing it in the face that how not well he's doing as this data transfer manager that has to like the cloud.
How well does a
cork
data
up pipe.
transfer manager do? I feel like a data transfer manager does
Not well.
probably pretty well.
Yeah, you'd think.
But I guess below the poverty
Not when
line.
the cloud's all fucked.
And he makes this joke of like, hey, where do you have it set up? He's like, oh, you're set up in the living room on the cot. And he's like, haha, yeah, right. So the next thing you know, Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney are living in the living room of their own house on a cot. And apparently his brother and wife are in their bed.
Okay.
So then he like wakes up in the middle of the night and he starts
A little bit of a long walk.
He starts
to get
looking
to
up
this situation.
these dolls on eBay and he's like, one of these went for $200,000.
Oh my God,
On
they're the
eBay.
main characters?
No, exactly. Exactly.
You're
This is
telling me
why-
this story. I'm like, wow.
This is the problem with this movie because then it's
Almost
like,
makes it sound like it's clever.
I'd rather they be Joseph Rosenbaum style pedos going
Yeah.
after the kid.
Yeah,
Who
Jojo.
cares?
Yeah, JoJo.
because then he goes to look in the box for the one doll. It has like an upside down head and it's not there. And he's like, oh my God, that kid stole it. Because he there's a flashback.
Wait, so they're not actually criminals? They're literally just trying to steal back what they think is theirs?
Yes. There's a flashback.
And I'm sure he doesn't have the doll.
There's a flashback. Yeah, the doll's not there. It's not in the
No, I'm
box
sure
anymore.
the kid doesn't have the doll either, right?
No, you're absolutely right. I did not see that coming, by the way, until way later in the movie, because they start setting up this idea that the brother's Asian baby is a klepto. Like it starts stealing stuff in the mall and shit. Oh my God. If this fucking baby is the actual one that stole the fucking doll and not Max, the British kid.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happens.
Yes.
Because, yes, Rob Delaney shows up at, like, they have the rigmarole of the British kid yelling at his, like, extended family because they're all going to Tokyo for Christmas. And he's like, I just want to be alone. Leave me alone. And, like, whatever. And he goes into their BMW SUV in the garage and starts watching TV on the headrest TV.
How do you have sympathy for this kid who's mad that he doesn't want to go to Tokyo? So
And
he goes into a BMW and watches TV.
Dude, he falls asleep watching TV. He falls asleep watching Wile E. Coyote cartoons on the TV headrest.
Oh my God. Please tell me this has the exact same ending as the killing of a sacred deer.
His mother is this British lady, and his dad is the guy from Review. You know the host of Review?
Andy Daly.
Yes, Andy Daly's his dad.
Andy Daly just spinning around a room.
His shitty uncle is Pete Holmes. Pete Holmes is in it as well.
Yep.
And Pete Holmes is the guy, like, when Rob Delaney shows up at the house to be like, I need this doll back, Pete Holmes thinks he's the Uber driver. And he's like, oh, we split up. The kid's mother already left. We're getting in these separate Ubers. So, but they're doing the thing where, like, he's also, like, blatantly putting, like, extra key under the plant by the front door, and they're yelling out like the gate code, like the security code. What's the security code? And one of the kids is like 1112.
Why does this movie need all this setup?
And
bro?
Rob Delaney's like 1112. That's an easy security code, but it's also justified in his mind because they're setting up the idea like I'm not trying to rob this house. I'm just trying to get the doll that I need to buy my house back, so my kids aren't upset.
You're saying this is communist brainwash.
It's
good.
the worst.
This is good.
Bullshit. And he looks in the window and sees a jacket, and it looks like something in the pocket could be the doll.
What?
But spoiler alert, the thing in the pocket was an energy drink. What he actually stole was one of the energy drinks.
Of course.
That Rob Delaney's like, you can't have this unless your mom says it's okay. And then the Max kid wakes up and his parents are gone and his family's gone. And they have like a 5-minute montage of him being like, yay, this is great. He does like Matchbox cars. Yeah, he does Matchbox cars like through the house.
This is the longest movie already. So long.
It's an hour to 20 minutes in.
They do a bit where he goes to the computer and he's like, give me your worst internet. But then it says parental controls are set.
Send me all the porn.
So he's like, you win this time, mom and dad. Like, he can't even, like, they can't even do a bit where he, like,
oh my God.
And dude, they cut back to Rob Delaney's family with his successful brother hanging out
It'd
at
be
his
great
house.
if he was just jerking off the whole time. People keep breaking into his house trying to get things.
Dude,
that's what would really happen.
Dude, that's all I was thinking because I was like, oh man, kids can't do cool shit anymore because all they would do was jerk off on their phones.
Yeah.
All these kids would do was jerk. Yeah, of course.
Well, that's
Because all I do
anyway.
now and have a day off.
They have like a 5-minute montage of him doing a Matchbox car thing that goes through the house.
No way.
Building the Eiffel Tower Legos.
Nope.
And then like sliding down his stairs in like a box. That's all they do.
It would literally just be like the most crude way to like jerk off to like a bad like screenshot of a picture.
But then they cut back.
He's like, ah!
They cut back to Rob Delaney's house where his successful brother and wife, and they're watching the remake of Angels with Filthy Souls. You know, the movie that Kevin watches.
Fine.
But now it's in space, and a guy has like a fucking space laser.
There's a world
and
where you
he's
can
like,
picture that being an idea that like had a good idea, like spirit behind it.
A world with hope.
It's the idea behind it's not a bad joke because he says like, get your ugly, sinking yellow keister off my property. And then it cuts to the brother and he goes, they're always remaking the classics and making it worse. And it's like, oh yeah, because we're watching a fucking remake.
Well, but also your movie's terrible and so you can't make that joke.
Yes, no.
I don't know why they were always trying to remake the classics. Never as good as the originals.
And then we do get some references that the home that the kid lives in is protected by McAllister security.
Yuck.
And then Buzz, Kevin's brother, is the security guard.
Tell me at what point in this movie, because I assume it has to happen, is the bad Macaulay Culkin cameo?
Macaulay Culkin's not in it.
At
the
all.
only reason why I watched it was to see a Macaulay Culkin cameo. He's not in it. Buzz is in it. And they have this gag where the mother calls back from Tokyo and is like, oh my God, my son is home alone. And then Buzz gets the call and he's like, that's my brother Kevin. Years ago, we left him home alone. He does this prank every year. We makes this call in and says that a kid's home alone. It's bullshit. Like,
so he's supposed to, we're supposed to believe.
Hard to deal with.
Yeah, that like a 40-year-old's like, it's that time of year.
Yeah.
Time to make my yearly prank call.
But the idea that the movie, for the most part, keeps humanizing these burglars because guess
Well, but they're not even humanizing it because they're going so far as to say they're not burglars.
Well, because even
they're not even like making them bad, but for like a good reason. They're just not even. They're saying it's not even what they're doing is bad.
I haven't even gotten into. They do this thing where it's this like people overhear stuff, so they think different shit's going on. Like they think Max, the kid that's
The
home
comedy
alone,
of errors is happening.
They hear him say something. Oh, they hear the mom say something from the open house, and they think Max is home with his grandmother. And then Max hears them talking about the doll, and they're like, "We need to sell this ugly kid to an old lady for $200,000." And Max hears that and thinks he's talking about him. And not the doll.
That's genuinely hilarious. That part's good.
So they go out of the way to make sure.
Like you said, Abbott and Costello shit.
To make sure that the family doesn't know that the kid's home alone, because if they knew he's home alone, they would call the police or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have to think, oh, he's here with his grandma. And they do some Alexa bit.
How are you still explaining this movie?
Exactly.
How
That's
is
what
this?
I'm saying.
How is this?
Why is it
it's
so
like the first
complicated?
act.
It's so
Because
complex.
they're still not even breaking into his home.
This
they're
is
they're
so
not
much.
breaking into his home yet.
They want to not have to. They want to.
No
have
one's
a movie,
the villain.
Yes, they want this movie to not have
His
any bad
parents are
guys.
still home
so
at
they
this
have to
point,
jump
right?
through fucking hoops to have someone rob someone.
Oh my
but
God.
no one can be a bad guy.
It's
Absolutely.
so annoying. Just have a Joe Pesci and fucking whatever that guy's name.
Exactly.
Just have a villain who's like, we're breaking into this house.
Have
This
some
dumb kid's there.
burglars. Yes.
Well, have it be like two dumb like 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Like get a TikTok guy and a Twitter guy that want to be actors and have them be the bumbling like thieves, and they just fucking Jonah Hill their way through a fucking situation being idiots.
It's not even hard.
and have him Jonah Hill through a TikTok dance.
Dude, it would be so much better if they did that. But yeah, go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just gonna say it's not even hard. They already made them like older whites.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You could do
just
so many.
send them in there. They're like, yeah, they're on OxyContin
There's so
or
many
something.
things that you can think of
Pulling
where
out
it's
wires.
like Nest cameras are a thing now. So you can
Yes.
have cameras everywhere. Alexa, he could like the cops could show up and be like, "Can I speak with your mom?" And you're like, "Alexa, say." Sure,
Dude,
how can I help you?
Yes.
They have
Sure,
this
how
running
can I help
gag.
you? Like you could do like there's so many modern obvious things that this kid could do
You're-
to just be home alone.
You're so right, Mike. I mean, I didn't even think about this. The whole point of Home Alone is to get burglars breaking in so you can use traps. Like
Yes.
that's like the whole movie
Well,
is
dude.
get to the traps on these people.
Exactly. Well, because they have this running gag. I even missed the beginning where the Alexa. It's not an Alexa because, like, obviously they use something else.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it gets messed up and it's in German. So it's speaking in German, and then Ellie Kemper is like the first time they kind of bust in, they don't do anything and they leave. And then she's like, I need to learn German. And she's like studying German and trying to practice lines for when they
Looking
show
cute.
up later where she speaks in German. But even before that, there's a moment where, because first Rob Delaney's like, Ellie Kemper's trying to call Rob Delaney, and she's like, we're late for our singing for the seniors class. They have to go out of their way to be like, these are good people. They go to nursing homes and they sing for them on Christmas. And he's like, look, it's not breaking and entering. It's just entering because I have the key and the security number. And she's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. But then she realizes, like, we're going to lose our home. So she's like, okay, we're just taking back what's ours. And it's this fucking elongated nonsense. And at one point, they show up to the neighborhood, and they're like, it's too hot. We can't go to the front door. We got to go through the back. And they have
It's
this
too hot.
They have this elongated sequence where they're climbing a fence in the back, and it's this wide brick wall. And it's like,
I'm sorry.
Ellie Kemper's trying to put Rob Delaney on her shoulders, and they're falling down and bashing into the wall. And then they end up breaking into the house, and it's the wrong house. And then they leave. They run out, and they run out accidentally on the frozen pool, and they fall into the frozen pool.
There's so many ways you can think of like my mind is racing with it's like, okay, what are the things you do? Okay, he puts a hoverboard right by the front of the door.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, under a window they have to climb in with super glue on it. So they get super glued to a hoverboard. And oh no,
Dude.
I can't stand up. Oh, I'm stuck to this hoverboard.
And now
there's there's so many like dumb modern things you do with this. How do you not have any of that?
I think what Mike's saying is actually really smart here and really, really important. And Jim, we don't want to water down your idea here. And you've had a lot of great stuff so far, but at this point, sort of as a studio, we kind of need to step in. And my big thought is, and I'm kind of with Mike here, we're so far away from Home Alone and traps and just sort of because and you spent a lot of time humanizing the villain, and we kind of love that a little bit. But I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, Jeff, I just feel like we've spent almost all our time with these villains being like,
absolutely,
their house payment. So, I don't want to ruin your idea because I know you're a bit of a visionary.
Yeah.
But I'm just worried that we're a little off the beaten path of Home Alone here.
So far, all of their like bumblingness is not from traps. It's just
So
from
there's
them
no
being
traps.
stupid.
It's just them being stupid.
Not yet. Yeah.
Mike's hung up on the traps, Jim, and I.
Well, where's the damn traps?
Finally,
look,
yeah.
the guys are not wrong here. Where are the
Finally, like the kid overhears them outside, like in the neighbor's yard.
Like
saying like, we got to get in that house and we got to sell this kid to an old lady.
Ooh,
and they're
okay.
talking about the doll.
Right.
But Max thinks they're talking about him. And he's like, I need to get to work.
So it's a comedy of errors.
Yeah. So he starts putting together the traps now.
Yes.
Of how he's going to protect himself.
Are there any good traps?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, don't say no, right?
I mean, there's a bit earlier where Mike Birbiglia is it? Yeah. It's
No.
Mike Birbiglia.
Oh, Jeff doesn't like Mike Birbiglia.
No, I'm sorry, not Mike Birbiglia. Pete Holmes. Pete Holmes.
Jeff likes Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes steps on a Lego piece and is like, the worst thing that could happen is stepping on a Lego piece. So he puts all these Lego pieces everywhere.
Oh, because of the traps.
Okay.
I like this.
Sure.
Mike, you're gonna like this, and I'm telling you,
I
this
assume they build off this.
this Jim guy's really smart.
Wait till I tell you the absolute worst trap
Lego Bill
that
I
I've
could
ever
see-
seen that's set up.
I could see Mike right now. He's
But,
losing it right in his
But
chair.
the
He's
other
losing
thing is, so he does this thing where he they live at the end of cul-de-sac. So he puts all this black ice in the road. So at one point they just can't brake and they crash into a pole and the airbag is the pole.
Oh, so they just get fucked up?
Okay.
Oh my god.
So he
But
just
that's-
puts out the black ice.
But yes, the other side of it is like the fact that they've humanized these
almost
people.
killed them.
It's not as fun to watch.
Yeah,
them
now you're like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Because dude, at one
Well,
point,
yeah, it's like in Drive when they're doing the heist on the pawn shop, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, "Pee!" You're like, oh no,
dude, at one point, Ellie Kemper's feet get lit on fire, and she's like running around all crazy, and then her hair gets electrocuted or something, and you're like, oh wow, this is just a lady trying to provide for her children and like pay her mortgage.
Now she's on fire.
So
Yeah,
I want
she's on
to
fire.
hear your own
Chinese babies,
sort of
stole
your
their
own
shit.
take on this as the the generator of the idea. You're already saying like, oh no.
Yeah, this is not great.
So are we to be on the side of the burglars here?
Dude, I have no idea whose side we're on right now. I think like
Okay,
we're kind
what's
of
your concept, Jim?
we're on the side of the burglars because they've been the main characters this whole point. We kind of check in on the kid who's home alone, but barely. We check in on him here and there to be like, oh wow, he's eating a fucking big ice cream sundae, or he's making Matchbox cars. Or he can't get past the parental controls to watch porn all day.
I think I'm seeing what you're saying. So he is excess. He is privilege.
Yes.
He is everything that's wrong with
Yeah.
society. And the burglars, on the other hand, they're the ones we root for here.
Yeah.
Does he add a paintball gun to a drone that he controls with his phone and then shoots them with
No,
paintballs?
I wish he did. That'd be actually great.
Why are there no modern clever traps?
I
in
think
Let
you
me
should
tell
get that
you.
in the script, Jim.
At one point, Rob Delaney gets in the house, right? And then he gets knocked out by like a fucking bag of sugar comes swinging down from the stairs and bashes him in the head, knocks
Bag
him
of
out.
sugar,
Big bag of
very
sugar.
hard.
But here's, let
I
me
wish
tell
that
you,
was an NFT.
Notoriously dangerous bag
Yeah.
of sugar.
Yep.
he wakes up, right? He doesn't understand that he has a VR headset on. He thinks he's at the edge of a mountain cliff.
Wait.
He wakes up and he's like, oh my God, I'm at a mountain now. oh shit, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall off the edge of this mountain. And he's like edging around, and we see that he's
edging.
He's just in the living room. He doesn't even understand he's on the he thinks he's at the edge of a
This
mountain.
almost works if you like find a family-friendly way to get him drunk, or like he takes wacky pills, or like the family-friendly version is like the grandma has gas, she breathes and it's oxygen, but it makes her. Mom says, "Oh, it makes her loopy."
Yeah,
and then he is like. He can't breathe because he had to run from a dog or something. And so he's like, oh, I'll use this oxygen. Then it makes him loopy. He gets knocked out, puts the VR headset on. Then you at least sort of buy a world where he's believing that this VR headset's real.
And we don't want to write this script for you, Jim, but I think you can see what Mike brings to the table here. He's produced a lot of these.
Great points, I would have to admit. So how
about he gets knocked out, but he's loopy from? Can we get
From,
somehow
loopy fumes.
Let's get that in there.
There's maybe spray paint. That's a family-friendly way for someone to
Like
wind
a
up
Mad
a
Max
little
style.
loopy.
Yeah.
Mad Max style high.
So
The dad mentioned he was painting the garage, but hey, don't go in there. The paint's not dry yet. And then he sneaks in through the garage. He comes out like, whoa.
A Thunder Roadian.
I think something we maybe glossed over was Jeff's idea of about a Mad Max style high, where he sort of huffs the paint. If there's any way we can get that in there, maybe I think that would make more sense than what you're pitching.
So he thinks he's on the edge of a cliff to the point that like he's trying to jump from one cliff to the other.
Sure.
Little does he know he's jumping into like a
oven.
shelf. He's jumping into like a shelf of plates and like
He's
knocking
doing
a
the
bunch of
Evil
shit
Dead
over.
2.
Wait, so when does
Evil
that
Dead
not
2 plate scene.
does that not make him realize? Oh shit, this is
like
fake?
knocks him out again to the point where he falls down and he's at the front door. So when Ellie Kemper's like trying to get in, she's like, something's blocking the door, and she's just bashing the door.
Oh, and he's blocking the door.
Yeah, over and over again.
And in this moment, obviously, we're like,
that's almost good.
This feels horrible because Ellie Kemper obviously is going to lose her home.
Yeah, yeah, she's gonna.
I'm glad that
how's
she's
she gonna break
accidentally
it?
giving her husband brain damage.
But he rings the doorbell. He walks out and you do the Buster Keaton, like the front of the house falls over,
Yeah.
but the window lands around him.
How's she gonna break it
"Nah."
to her children that they can't pay their mortgage and they have to move?
He's like, what is
the
this, a
fuck?
Kyle
How's she
Yeah.
gonna do that?
So this Home Alone has a heaviness to
Yeah.
it always.
So then they're chasing him through the house, and then he's throwing fucking sugar bags at them on the stairs.
Is there?
Dude,
is sugar bags and Legos
Yeah.
the only traps in this
dude,
movie?
here's the thing that was like extra horrific, where I was like, what the fuck? He runs up in the attic, or he makes them think he runs up in the attic. So at the point where Ellie Kemper sees the like rope hanging down where you pull the attic stairs down, she pulls the attic stairs down. There's this gag where earlier in the movie, the Max kid's so privileged, he shows up at the church where they have toys for underprivileged kids, and he's like, "Oh, free toys," and a nun has to be like, "No, these are for
No, you
kids that don't
fucking
get
idiot.
toys," and to the point where Ellie Kemper's actual son is also at the church, and he's donating a Nerf gun, and he starts talking to Max the kid, and he's like, and Max is like, my parents disappeared. I have no family anymore. They disappeared 2 days ago. And he's like, oh my God, you need this more than me. And he gives him the Nerf gun.
Yes.
He sets the Nerf gun up at the attic pole.
Okay.
But he puts tacks in the darts.
Okay.
So when Ellie Kemper pulls them down, I didn't even notice this at first. I thought it was just Nerf things were sticking in her face. But no, thumbtacks are sticking in her face.
No.
And I'm like, she's trying to provide for her children.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve to be shot in the face like 8 times with Nerf
thumbtack darts.
Yeah.
Like they're like
He's like, ah!
thumbtacks are a thing that happens in wrestling matches when you're
Yes.
like, whoa, this is fucked up.
Yes.
I gotta say, Jim, this is a bit of a Squid Game.
Yeah, this is quite a Squid Game.
It really is a Squid Game.
And it finally like builds to a head where like he's fucking throwing paint buckets at him and doing all this shit. They're getting fucked up.
Ran out of sugar bags.
They're like falling into walls. They're getting.
He's beating them with hammers. They're
Rod
like,
Delaney has this huge lump on his head from the VR thing he did because he banged his head somewhere. And then it finally gets to the point where also from throwing all these sugar bags, the the ceiling for the chandelier is starting to give out a little bit.
Oh no.
From throwing
Too
all
many
the
sugar bags.
And it gets to a certain point where finally, like, he yells something like, "You're not gonna sell me to an old lady for $200,000?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you thought we were gonna sell you to an old lady? We're just here for our doll." And he's like,
You just shot
I
nails
didn't-
in my face.
"I didn't take your doll." He's like, "Oh my God, where's your grandma? I'm home alone." "Oh my God, honey, you're home. We need to contact your parents." And then the chandelier falls.
Oh no.
But it falls in the sense of like it doesn't hit anyone, but it like separates them and he's like, "Seriously, that was an accident."
The end.
And then she's like,
good.
"Let's take you home. We need to call your mom. This is horrible. Your mom's just..." And he's like, "My mom's gonna be so mad." She's like, "Trust me,
Wait, why
honey.
didn't he call her?
Trust me, honey. Your mom is just gonna be happy you're okay."
Why didn't he call his mom?
I guess he's 10, so he doesn't have a phone. And then I don't know.
house phone?
They make a joke like, "Who has house phones anymore?"
All right,
Yeah,
fair
that's a
enough.
good joke.
Yeah.
But if he's this privileged, he definitely has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Jeff's right. It's a great joke.
So then they bring him home. He has dinner with the family. And then they're like, "Well, who stole the doll?" And then the little Asian baby's like, "I got the doll." And they do this extended segment because the Asian baby's at the top of the stairs. And he just throws the doll in the air. And everyone's like, slow motion, like, "Let's catch the doll." And then Rob Delaney.
Wait, is it a doll that can break?
No, exactly. I thought of that after. I said to Stella, I go, that doll wouldn't even have broken. Like, what are they talking about? Rob Delaney, like, bumps his head into the wall, falls down the stairs. Ellie
A dog
Kemper
bursts in, starts biting
Ellie
people.
Kemper slips and falls as well. But then Max.
The oven catches on fire.
Max, the kid, he makes a diving catch. He saves the doll.
Let's go.
No.
And then... And then his mom shows up and is like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You're alive." And then they have a funny gag where they show up back home and she's like, "What happened to the house?" And then it cuts 1 year later and they're all having family dinner at Rob Delaney and Ellie Kemper's house. They're friends
Oh
now.
my God.
Man, they just make
It's
every...
like that
they make all the
Thanksgiving
wrong
family
choices.
where they invited the wrong dude.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that-
the black
and that
black
young,
teen
the young
and the
black
old
teen
lady.
showed up. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah, because there is this gag earlier
But that's
where
kind of fun.
That is fun. Yeah, this movie's horrible.
It's like creepypasta.
Oh man,
because there's this gag earlier where fucking not Mike Birbiglia. Who's the non-Mike Birbiglia?
Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes, yes, thank you. Pete Holmes is like, they do the thing. "You don't have a house phone? Who has a house phone?" And she's like, "You don't talk to your neighbors?" She's like, "We moved in 4 months ago. We're not friends with our neighbors yet." Like shit like that.
But we're
now
trying.
it's like-
We have commitment issues, man.
But now
I
it's
have
like-
anxiety.
Now they're friends with Rob Delaney and Ellie Kemper. So now they have neighbors that are friends. They're friends with their kids. And then Rob Delaney has to be like, "We sold the doll. We paid off our mortgage. Now I work for the Cloud."
Jeff has been promoted to district manager.
You know, there's no Christmas for the cloud, Mike. The cloud never sleeps, and I provide 24/7 cloud management services, and that includes
Done.
The Cloud's great. And he starts talking about how great the Cloud is.
This part I like.
Is it a CIA
Wait,
movie?
Jake's in the pocket of a big cloud.
What are you talking about? Just put your data up there. Stop.
But
Put your
yes,
data up there.
Forever,
am I wrong to think like, why is this movie so complex?
No, you're not. They
Why
should-
are they bending over?
If there's any
backwards?
complexity, it should be in like, is magic real?
Yeah.
Is it like? Would
Yes.
you really think his parents left for good? Like it
Yeah.
should be that stuff where you're like mentally doing
I like, is
gymnastics to
magic
justify like why things are happening,
And dude,
not
this kid-
the actual things that happen.
This kid is a side character, but they still give him lines like, "You give up or you're thirsty for more." Like they still try to give him Kevin McAllister lines, but you don't spend any time with this dumb kid. You feel bad for these stupid parents that are being lit on fire and electrocuted.
They do like they do like the Hills Have Eyes type shit. Like they put
Yeah.
Pete or Ellie Kemper on a tree and like burn her alive.
Dude,
Like, oh,
it
no.
makes no sense. I have no idea what they were trying to do.
Yeah, that
There's
tone.
extended
that tone
segments.
sounds crazy.
Yeah, there's extended segments of the drive-through. The driveway being frozen. So it's like they're trying to just walk up the driveway and like, whoa, like they're slipping and falling over and over again. I think there is a part where he shoots them maybe with a BB gun or something.
Why is every single trap a trap that could have also happened back in the original Home Alone?
Exactly. You're right. Why are they not using a drone or whatever?
Like there's so many modern things that you could just go like, how do I make a trap out of this? That it's insane that none of them are used.
AR-15. He just blasts Ellie Kemper twice in the chest.
Dude,
she goes, ugh.
I would love that.
They could even do one better. I almost thought they were going to do
What if it ended like that real quick and then cut to black, like A24 style, where she's like, she goes for his gun and he jumps back and goes, goo, goo.
Well, dude, honestly, even better, which I thought they were going to do, is because at the beginning you see the McAllister security sign.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. What if the kid doesn't come with any traps? It's just this security
Built-in
company
traps?
has fucking built-in traps. And
Wow.
they just did that.
Jim, that's so weird because my idea almost was like, what if there are no traps?
Yes.
And it's just a comedy of errors the whole way through. The kid is not setting up anything. And it's like, just as you talked about the slippery driveway, like everything is the slippery driveway.
Yeah.
So there's never a trap. They just keep getting, stopped by almost Mother Nature.
Final Destination level of
Yes.
wackiness that made a thing
A
happen.
Rube Goldberg situation
Yeah.
always comes into play, and no one I'd almost like that more because we are making them the heroes of the story.
Because it's weird, because I feel like to them, they're like, we're doing something different. But it's like, you're not, because the third act is still the same. So it's still about the burglars getting like fucked up and almost killed.
Except now you're not happy about it.
But now you've just set up 2 acts of like trying to humanize them.
Yeah.
What I'd rather they just did a straight up like the same shit. You know what I mean?
They really should have.
It would have been better.